my name is James Sheeran and we're here to tell you a few tales about the Get Well campaign. He'd help you. Now, you may be wondering why I am here for you to get well. You know yourself. But what I'm going to do is tell a few stories, tell a few yarns, have a look at Clonus of old and what Clonuses can be. So follow me and see how it goes. So, this was once the site of Hanbury shop. Terence Hanbury was the proprietor and you could get anything in Terence Hanbury shop, from a cylinder of gas to a penknife to a rubber head bait. He sold gun stuff, hunting stuff. He also fixed radios. One night, the mice attacked a radio, okay? And someone brought in the radio to get fixed to Terence. And Terence says, not only have they eaten through the wires, they've attacked the valves as well. This was not the first time this happened in Clonus, and it will not be the last. So here we are on the site of the busted sofa, or as my father used to call it, the busted eardrum. As you can see, this sofa is definitely busted at this stage. I'll not tell you where the busted sofa got its name. You'll have to ask Colin Flynn and Mickey McCartney for that one. But everyone has stories about the busted sofa. I have loads of stories about the busted sofa. For a town that has a lot of exits, we also have a lot of entries. In fact, one of the more famous entries in the town was the 1968 Eurovision Song Contest with Pat McGuigan. Oh, one day, as I was out walking.
How's the farm?
Didn't fill it in yet. You remember who said that? John Rehill. Well, I'm standing outside John Brady's barbershop. Many's a scalping I got there as a child, sitting across the wee wooden plank on the seat. But John Rehill was in here one day getting a shave, and John was wriggling about in the chair, and Nick once with the cutthroat, Nick twice. On the third Nick, he asked John Brady, the barber, would you have another one of them cutthroat razors there? And John says, I do indeed. Went over to the sink to get it, to hand it to John. He says, what do you want it for, innit? To defend myself, he says. John Rehill, 1994, R.I.P. So behind me was a shop. There lived a man by the name of Andy Grundle, and he used to sell the religious memorabilia the time the missions were on up in the Sacred Heart Church. So one evening the Redemptorist was on about a man by the name of St. Martin de Porres, and a book involved with him called The Life of a Saint. A woman customer came down to Andy, who subsequently was off the drink for Lent and wasn't that happy about it. She turned to Andy and she says, Andy, do you have the life of a saint? Did my fuck mama having the life of a dog, he says. And from here on in, Andy Grundle was known as Andy Grumble. Behind me was a bookie shop. And years ago, an old man by the name of John Murphy from the Newtown Butler Road was in there and had won a few pence on the horses. As he walked out, who walked in? Only a bank robber with a shotgun. And he shouts out, everybody, hands up! And John looked at him and says, would you ever let me count me few shillings? And walked out by him. The robber turned to the rest of the crowd and he says, right, so the rest of you put your hands up then. So in Clonus, anything over 2 stories, it's a tower. So in 1964, the Clonus Fleadh was on here, okay? So there was plenty of buskers outside of McCuskers. Oh, Roshada Vahawalya. Here in Clonus, we never let the truth get in the road of a good story.